Hi gang, welcome back to the Ornery Latina. This is Positively Wonderful Friday, where we're going to talk about wonderful things like Mr. Trump. And basically, I had a nice day today. It was wonderful. I talked to this wonderful guy who talked all about the Nazis and telling the story about how this guy survived it and everything to another old guy. And he says, well, that's just like our president. He's a Nazi, and he's going to do our country in. And my beautiful day, like, kind of went to shit, because you know what? That guy didn't say, that nigger in the White House, he's going to do our country in. He's the downfall of this country. He didn't say that. He said Nazi. And so I have to say, you know, if people would have said, that nigger in our country, he's the downfall of our country, he is doing us in, and we're heading towards, you know, mass poverty and starvation, which we were under the Obama administration, it would have been a bad thing. But no, now because of the things that Obama did, and Mr. Trump is trying to fix our country and actually do things that are going to bring us along, he is being called a Nazi because of a nigga. And people don't like that word, but you know what? I'm Puerto Rican, and we come from the nigger family. You know, we have some niggers in our family that are just absolutely worthless. They will like sit on their ass, they'll collect the government subsidies, they don't work. And it's all like within the family, like, yeah, he sure is a nigger, you know, and a dumb nigger, you know. And, you know, we have a lot of people that were in the prison population and that kind of thing. And because I'm Puerto Rican, I might be able to call somebody, you know, a dirty whatever. But you know what? I'm also Italian. Can I call people wops? You know, I'm also a little bit of Irish, and I don't even know what you call Irish people. Bill, can you help me with that one?
Mix.
Mix. Okay, mix, or whatever that is. You know. But anyway, I have a little bit of German. You know, very, very little bit. And when this guy was telling me today, you know, about the Nazis, he still like had this hatred for the Germans. And so he asked me what my boyfriend was, and I said he's German, and he said, oh, that's very bad. And I'm like, what? He says, so I hate Germans. And like, the guy was Greek, and he's like, you need to marry your own kind. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm a quarter Irish with a little bit of German and English and Scottish. So do I tell him that I might be like a quarter of a quarter, you know, German, you know, but mostly Puerto Rican? And, you know, Puerto Rican is at like the top of the little chart. And then after the Puerto Rican comes the Italian, and then comes the Irish, and little sliver of German, and sliver of English and Scottish and whatever. Anyway, I'm a freaking mutt, you guys. And so the moral of this story is everybody's a fucking racist. Everything. And you know what? When you call Trump a Nazi, it's just as bad as calling Barack Obama a nigger. It's just the same thing. I think, you know, it's just as evil. Really it is. And so it's really unfortunate that people have to resort to these kinds of tactics, because here's a president who was just you know, he was dealt a huge sack of shit, people, a big mess of $1 trillion deficit bag of shit from the N-word before him. It was because of niggerism that we had Nazism. No, I'm kidding. You know, God, you guys, people, like, get real here. Like, how can you like demean a guy for coming into this position with such a lack of, like, what do we have? Fucking money just sprinkling down from the trees or sky or whatever, you know? We have an endless like these little fairies just go, oh, you're black, let's sprinkle a little pixie dust so you can lay around and get your little government welfare check and have your babies for free. You know what? People want to work. We don't want to bring in the Mexicans so we can, you know, pay the black people to sit around and do nothing. I mean, that's racist. That's racism. And of course, you're paying the Mexicans so the Puerto Ricans could sit around and do nothing too, because we have a lot of people in my family that have the Puerto Rican LPRS. It's called lazy Puerto Rican syndrome. They all suffer from it. And I think that I've had periods in my life where I suffered from LPRS too. So it's a real condition. And I mean, some of you guys aren't even Puerto Rican, and I'm sure you've had periods of LPRS. Lazy Puerto Rican syndrome. Anyway, yeah, so we don't want to call people names or anything, but it seems to me that the left has resorted to that, and it's really, really unfortunate. I think our president is doing a great job, and I really feel sorry for him, because he comes into office and instead of getting down to work, he's fending off all these rumors about him talking or conspiring with the Russians to oust Hillary Clinton. I think she really ousted herself, because she's just a greedy bitch. Anyway, this is a woman who actually thought she had a chance of winning the presidency. I don't know where she would get that idea, but it goes to show that she's living in a delusional fantasy world. But maybe it was the fact that you stood by a man who raped women and thought he would get away with it, who left the White House after saying he didn't have an affair with an intern, which was wrong. And maybe it could be that you sold the uranium to the Saudis, that could have gotten you, in a lot of hot water, or the fact that you were trying to cheat your way to presidency. And then you wrote a book, which was unbelievable. What happened? What happened? I just think to myself, really, could she be any more clueless? Does she not know? Oh, help me, Bill. I used to think that I wanted to run for office, and God, I as fucked up as I am and stuff like that, I am much too good for that kind of a job. Much too good for that. I couldn't do it. And the reason I couldn't do it is because I'm way too kind of a person, and too generous, and too flawed, and I love my wine, and I have a potty mouth, and you know what, and all these imperfections and stuff like that make me look like a rock star compared to the slime balls that were actually in office, that would sell their mother for a few dollars. I mean, unbelievable stuff that they did. And as the light shines on the darkness, you still have people blindly supporting these little motherfuckers, excuse my French. And that's really the sad thing about it all. And with that said, I think people really need to study their history better, and really look into how the culture of Nazism, took place. And it was due to the government expanding and giving way too much beyond their means. It was due to the lack of job creation, and it was also due to massive bigotry. And it wasn't, people coming from outside of their country, it was within their own country. So, by opening up the borders and by bankrupting our country is basically being a Hitler. And that was happening on the left side, not the right. So if you want to really point fingers about who the real Nazis were, it was those people like Schumer and Pelosi, who really did the evil. And who was the other guy that was really stupid? He's not, Harry something. He had the patch on the eye, Bill. Anyway, I called him his office, and I sang the national anthem in my own version. Jose, can you see? Yeah, oh, say, can you see? Jose, can you see? Anyway, and I really butchered the national anthem. because I was being a smartass. And I wish that some of the people knew who I was back then, would have saved some of my ornery phone calls of me pranking the White House and pranking some of these Congress people, because if I ever were to run for office, I think that would push me over the edge. Hearing some of my old things that I did actually would be just a beautiful thing. You guys have a great Friday. God bless. You know, keep the faith, and you know what? We're winning, and it's just, you know, the left is not liking it, and we're going to keep going forward. And it's not racist to defend our country. What's racist is to allow the cartels and the bad guys to win, and we're not going to allow that. You guys have a great evening. God bless. Later.